Hello and welcome to ETTO'S Catch Up. I'm Will.
I'm Josh.
And today on the only show, the Gamers Post is still down. So it's news is really hard to find.
And hey, brew, let's get that funding cash.
Wow.
Terrible. I'm sorry.
No, that was ballsy.
I didn't really try.
And no, I think you did try. I think you
did.
tried.
Well, I
yeah.
did try.
And I think we will find out to what effect it worked when the news story happens, because I think you've set you've set the mind aflare now as to what it could be about. It's very exciting because it's like, is it about New Zealand or is it about the thing inside the accent that you talked about? Like, has it got any relation or did you make a funny joke? We'll find out. We'll find out.
How mysterious.
Welcome to the catch up. This is the shit. It's the shit. It's the shit, man.
Yeah, man.
This is the shit. Every week we just bring you the shit.
It kind of is.
Yeah, it's pretty shit. These last few, there's just nothing. There's nothing happening on the internet. You'll see. You'll see in the news.
my news is not funny this week. It's just stuff. It's just some things that are happening.
Is that not news?
Well, I guess, but usually we do fun news.
That's true.
Is just there's not anything interesting happening,
news.
So it's just like actual news.
You know what I think
almost.
it is? I think it's everyone around the world is holding off until Jeff Keighley's Game Awards happen. That's what everyone's waiting for. No one's doing anything until then. Once he announces Jedi Survivor or shows us a trailer, then we can move on with the world. That's really what's happening.
That's it.
I have nothing to catch up about. All I've been doing is working, but I have two names that I wrote in this document 3 weeks ago, and I meant to put them at the top as like a fun fact. So here's the fun fact.
Go for it.
You know how there's two Bobs? One that was in charge of Disney, and then he left, and then another one that came in, and then he got kicked out, and the other Bob came back. Well, I found out both of them, middle name's Allen. So both of them are Bob Allen.
Bob Allen?
Yeah. Both of them are Robert Allen Iger and Robert Allen Chapek. But Robert Iger spells it incorrectly with a double L-E-N, and Chapek spells it correctly with an L-A-N. So that's the unfortunate thing, that the correct one is the bad Bob, but you know.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's the dealings we have to deal with.
Bad Bob.
Bad Bob. Have you had a good Bob?
I have. Just jumping. Well, I guess all of it has to do with, Disney, and you also mentioned Star Wars earlier.
Yeah, okay.
Star Wars Squadron is currently free on the Epic Store, so go grab that. That's a pretty big free game to grab. So
yeah, totally.
Get it.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, Miles Ross talked about the fact that he's got a full fucking flight deck on his computer, and he's been playing it with that, and it's like, it's a good game once you have all that.
Yeah, excellent.
So
sick. I'll have to let one of the newer programmers at work pretty much just plays Flight Simulator and has like the whole setup. I had to like ask him to go buy a controller so that he could do work, which is kind of annoying, but
he's got a hot ass.
That's it. So yeah, I should tell him to grab this and give it a go with all of his gear.
Yeah, totally.
Sick. I just have one more kind of funny thing. So my parents were down for about 18 hours.
Yep.
From Friday evening till Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
Picking up a caravan. They sold their previous caravan and bought a new one. Bought a second-hand new one.
New to them.
New to them. And in doing that, they got to meet my girlfriend in person. And when she went home, my dad, who, is very chill and doesn't say much, once she left, he said, I will punch you if you leave that girl. So, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So I think I've got their approval. I think she's got their approval.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Yeah. A punch.
But yeah, my dad does not say those things.
Yeah.
Dad is a very relaxed man.
Yeah.
So
interesting. What a leap and a bound.
Funny. Yeah, I know, right?
I want him to do it at your wedding. Just deck you. Fucking. Just at the.
If you leave or marry this girl,
I'll punch you either way.
Punch you.
I just for some reason in these 18 hours I've grown to hate you, and I want an excuse to punch you.
It's got to be it.
That's what it is.
It's got to be it. Yeah.
How funny.
It's probably because he did like most of the renovations on my apartment and then he left and I've done nothing with it since.
Yeah. But he fixed
I just lived in it.
Yeah.
He did fix it. Like there's still stuff to do.
Yeah, right.
But I just haven't. But I also don't know how. I don't know what to do because dads just know how to do things.
Yeah. Especially your dad. Jesus Christ.
That's right. Oh, man.
He can punch a man.
Dude, he can punch a man. Not many people can punch a man.
No, that takes a good fist. Shall we get to the news?
Let's get to the news, please. Waka waka.
I'm a chicken.
I love it.
How many bits of news have you got? Or news?
2.
I got 2. So do you want me to kick us?
Take us off.
That's going to punch us. I'm going to kick us. This one, as I said, neither of these are pop culture related. So just settle in, everybody.
Settling in.
I found this one on... I always just said the punchline at the top, and it would have been just as funny, but I'm going to hold it. I found this on silencealert.com. Now, I have to preface that this story was really exciting and seemed super relevant, and then at the end of it, it just said reposted from 2019. So it's old news, but it's news that we've probably not experienced, so it's okay.
Right.
And I'll go with another date. In 2015, a Melbourne man was prospecting. In 2015, he was prospecting.
Okay, cool.
Is
his name Pete?
No.
Prospector Pete?
The name is very important. We'll get to the name.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to hold off the name till the end because it's the
Is that
icing.
the punchline?
Yeah. His name is the icing on the cake.
Amazing.
He was prospecting in a regional park in Melbourne. Armed with a metal detector, he discovered something out of the ordinary.
Armed.
Yeah, armed. He's only one armed, and the other's a metal detector. He found out it says out of the ordinary, a very heavy reddish rock resting in some yellow clay. I don't know. That feels like in the ordinary if you're prospecting. You kind of you're aiming.
That's what you're looking for, right?
Yeah. Dumb article. Scientists. I'll get back to scientists.
Scientists.
He took it home and tried everything to open it. Sure, there was a gold nugget inside the rock, given Maryborough, which is where he was, is in the goldfields region where the Australian gold rush peaked. So he assumed he was getting some decent gold.
Yeah.
However, not even a sledgehammer, which he had. He actually only has no arms. One's a sledgehammer and the other's a metal detector. Only has no arms.
Only. Exclusively no arms.
Yeah.
Only tools.
He couldn't get it open because it turned out it wasn't a gold nugget. He took it to the Melbourne Museum, who identified it as a meteorite.
Interesting.
Which is very exciting. After
fascinating that it was strong enough that he couldn't break it open.
Totally. I would have assumed still rock. You could still do something to it. But
I would have assumed very similar to normal rock.
Yeah, but apparently we don't know science.
It's like a meteor. Like some meteor is just straight up like metal, like just space metal.
So they scanned it and it was like 90% iron, basically.
Oh my goodness!
So it was 17 kilograms in weight, and the dude that had a look at it like it was a lump. He came into the Melbourne Museum with a lump. Dermot Henry, fucking dumb name.
Dermot.
Yeah,
Dermot Henry. That's a last name if I've ever heard of it.
That's Henry Dermot.
It's backwards. Yeah, Henry Dermot is such a normal name.
Yeah.
That is a British man's name.
Nah, Dermot Henry. Fucking idiot. He said in the 37 years that he's been working at the Melbourne Museum, he's only ever seen 2 meteorites. So this is really exciting for this guy as well.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it weighs 17 kilograms, and while they don't know where it might have come from, they have some guesses. They say, this is the cool thing. Just the idea of space is cool. This particular meteorite most probably comes out of the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, and it's been nudged out of there by some asteroids smashing into each other, and then one day it smashes into Earth. Well, that's fucking cool.
That's very cool, but also like... one day that could happen and destroy the planet.
That is the possibility. If it happened in Maryborough, it could happen in...
That's right.
It's just a massive one to the Earth.
Yeah. It's surprising, like, something that heavy as well. Like, that's got to be decent sized.
Totally. Yeah,
to not do all that much damage to Earth.
To land in a river bed somewhere.
Kind of impressive. Yeah, that's...
It's
lucky.
it's also weird that none of these. Well, and we'll get to the dating of this. He fucked the Rock. No, he
Took me a second.
That's the twist.
Oh, man.
But it is wild the amount of times they've said that a meteorite's about to hit us, and then they're like, nah. It's like, what the fuck do you mean, nah?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Yeah, like after watching Don't Look Up, I'm like not a great movie.
But it could happen.
This could freaking happen.
Yeah.
Like it seems very realistic and seemingly like the potential is constantly there and constantly reported on, and then it's like, oh no,
we're all good.
like, well, when?
Yeah. When indeed.
Like surely we're running out of time.
Yeah, eventually one of us is going to hit us. One of us, your dad.
One of oh, damn it. This is a great podcast.
It's very good.
I love this episode.
So carbon dating suggests that the meteorite has been on Earth between, and again, I'm coming back to scientists in my other piece of news. They're so fucking vague every time.
Yep.
It's possibly been on Earth between 100 and 1,000 years.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could have guessed that.
Carbon dating is rough.
Yeah.
I've heard them say like this is 1 million years old, and then they're like, oh wait, no, this was from like Thursday. Like they literally say like last week. They're like, oh no, this was just a rock that, did something that happened last week. It's like,
how do we get anywhere? How do we have
going
Teslas?
on? Yeah.
How does anything work? And they say there's been a number of meteor sightings between 1889 and 1951, and that's what could correspond to the arrival on the planet, which is a wild thing to read. The arrival on our planet.
Yes. I will just clarify as well. When I say last Thursday, it's like someone like made a thing.
Yeah. Right.
And then it's like, oh no, we like, this was like a synthesized thing made last Thursday.
Yeah. But they think it was
that sort of thing.
They think
people take it and they're like, carbon date this, and they're like, oh, it's 1 million years old.
Carbon dating sucks.
It's pretty bad.
But you know who doesn't suck? The Melbourne man that found all this? David Hull. It's a prospector.
De Hull. He is De Hull.
A prospector called Hull. Fucking amazing. D-Hull. Thank you, D-Hull, for demeteorite.
Oh, that's so good.
So that's my little bit of news from 2019. And that's all there is to that one.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, the Australian store, who are constantly pretty much known as a-holes. EB Games, they're selling pre-owned PS5s. The more interesting part of all of this, sadly, but also not surprising, is the price that they're selling these pre-owned PS5s for. The PS5 disc version is selling for $750, and the digital version is $600. Does that sound familiar? Do those prices sound familiar?
Yeah.
Those were the original prices.
Fucking hell.
Before Sony just jacked up the prices worldwide. So it's only $50 less for a pre-owned 2-year-old, potentially 2-year-old, probably 2-year-old console, because they don't
There's no more than that
very often.
Yeah.
It's like the OGs are basically all you're getting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Scummy.
It's annoyingly kind of clever though. So like, it's EB, they're dicks with pre-owned. But pre-owned things are almost entirely profit.
Yeah.
Especially since, EB are probably buying it off people for about $10.
Yeah, totally.
Like they're making so much freaking money off this. But they can jack up the prices so close to the current retail price. Because it is really close to Christmas, and people will
spend it no matter
if
what.
There are any consoles coming out, like they will just sell out really quick. That people will put in the extra $50 and get a brand new one.
Yeah,
but then once people come in looking for one, they're going to be like, "Well, I've got no choice. This is the only ones I can get."
Yeah, and fucking Alexander at home is going to skin me if I don't get him a PlayStation 5. For this third year, I didn't buy him a PlayStation 5. So
100%. It's real dirty. That's it. I'm just mad about that. That's all. But if you're looking for a PS5, you can potentially get one.
Yeah, I mean, I got really. I almost shook a man's hand. It was one of those like
almost,
and then I just punched him. It was one of those the internet's talking about it all the time now, where you realize that you have or it's like that thing, you realize you can do the thing that's in your brain, that no one's stopping you from doing it. There's a fucking phrase that's doing the rounds on the internet.
Okay.
Not self-aware, but it's basically that. And it was like I was just
self-actualization or something.
Yeah, something. Not in a deep respect, but just like, you know, there's a video of a guy working Dan Murphy's, and he like is putting wine bottles into the thing, and then he just stops and goes, I could drop this, and then he just drops it. It's like those kind of thoughts where you're like, no one's stopping me. As I was walking, it was at Broadway Shopping Center. I was walking back to the car, and I just saw a guy holding a PlayStation 5 bag and box that had the God of War thing, so he just bought it. And I was just like, hey, enjoy, and just kept walking. I'm like, the fuck?
You did that?
Yeah. It's like, what did he get out of that interaction? And what did I get? Neither of us got anything out of that. So
it's amazing. That's so
I just got very excited to see a PlayStation 5 in the wild.
I wish he had some sort of like dash cam going on or something, because that would be the perfect NPC moment.
Totally. Yeah.
For the internet.
Like, what the fuck was that? It's like,
it's exactly what it is. It's
I wish I could find that scrolling through TikTok or something. Just see me doing that and be like, oh my God, what an idiot.
I love that. It's so funny.
But yeah, totally. It's exciting. I hope that we're heading towards more PlayStations, mainly just so that EB Games don't have to do that and be shit.
Yeah, totally. But I guess, you know, I think they are now available because they've got the God of War ones. I feel like we were correct in our assumption that they were holding on to them for God of War.
Yeah.
Probably.
Scummy. Well, you know who also is scummy?
Who's scummy?
Ants.
Sure.
Ants.
Yeah.
The question has been posed. How many ants are there?
Okay, great. Science.net.
Yeah, welcome back. So there's been a study to work out how many ants there are on the planet right now. And the number has come back. Because the best part of the news is just the quotes. This is where I'm like, scientists are fucking dumb. This whole news story, I appreciate what they do, but Jesus Christ, they're stupid.
I love that this is your news.
It's all I've got.
This is so great.
So the answer is apparently 20 quadrillion ants.
Okay, cool.
The ants.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
20 quadrillion ants on the Earth at any given time, and this is a study from National...
What's the other time?
I don't know. All the wording of this is fucking amazing. This is a new study from National Academy of Sciences. Don't know where, just somewhere. NAS.
One of them.
From NAS. This is a quote from Sabine S. Newton, who says... This is
a scientist with the last name Newton. Yes.
This is all real. This isn't from The Onion. This is legitimate. Her quote. And so that first line is there, then there's like a bit of information. And the first quote in this article is from Sabine. We were very surprised about the large number of ants we found. It's like, what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean?
Also, you found nothing. This is an estimate.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is not a calculation.
Yeah, wait for the way they get the fucking study. The bunch of losers. Yeah,
good.
And the best thing is the way that this was worded. It was from 9 News. Quote, her name, an insect ecologist at the University of Würzburg in Germany, told CNN on Tuesday. Newton was a co-lead author of the study. It almost feels like they're judging her. They're like, this woman said we were surprised by the amount of ants. She was the co-lead. Like, all right.
Yeah.
This weird woman. All right. The previous global estimate of between again, big estimate and range, between 1 quadrillion and 10 quadrillion. So all this new study has done is gone, maybe like 20. What about that?
Yeah.
We're just like, just another 10.
Increase it and get back in the news.
That's all it is.
That's all Newton was after.
That's all he was after. This new study, if you want to call it that, based on nearly 500 studies across the world, gives us our best answer yet. The estimate overall number is almost unimaginably huge, but the study authors say it's conservative because they couldn't gather all the data they wanted. So they wanted all the data they possibly could. They took from 500 studies. Their issues, they couldn't check the ones that are underground, and there's also just no studies in Antarctica. So we just couldn't do anything about that. There's nothing we could do about there not being a study in one place and, like, how many it could be under the ground. We couldn't just like work that out. So we just stuck to what it, on top of it all, the end quote from, I can't say these scientists' names. They basically say, so we want to inspire people, especially schools, if they're willing to contribute to science with simple methods, like conducting their own surveys. So basically going, we didn't get enough information, so like, what if schools did it for us? It's like, do your job, man. Just do your fucking job.
And like, what school
is going to
what are they doing? How are you counting ants?
I don't know.
How is anyone counting or collecting ants?
Yeah.
Out of school.
I actually fear, we don't have him in the Discord, and I don't know if he listens to this, but if Lesser of Two Weevils, if you are listening to this podcast, fill us in. How do they count ants? Let us know. Yeah. Let us know.
Because, we're aware of population increases of animals because we tag them.
Yeah.
The ones in the ocean, put a little tag on them, whatever, little tracker or something.
Yeah.
And then they swim away, and then we go back to that location, we find all of them with trackers, and then we find the ones without, and we're like, cool, these must be new ones.
Yep.
And then that's the population increase.
Ants.
You can't put a tracker on an ant, right?
You can put a RUD. You can put a little RUD, and you get him to go away, and then you just get him to count. That's what you do.
Put a little RUD.
But yeah, if anyone was wondering, 20 quadrillion ants on the Earth, according to some fucking dumb scientists.
I was wondering, so I'm glad we did this podcast today.
Yeah, I'm glad we got there.
It's very good. It's very good. Well, it sounds like they got to do some studies in at least New Zealand, because that's where our next news article is going, and that's my segue.
Oh!
The New Zealand government have announced a new video game development funding boost to support the growth of local studios, which is very exciting.
That's very exciting.
And it's actually like a solid funding boost. Like it's good. So this was announced on The Beehive, which is the New Zealand government's official website. It's called The Beehive, and that is adorable. That's
cute. Their official government website is The Beehive. Yeah. Good.
They're called The Beehive. I don't know why. I don't know what that has to do with New Zealand.
Yeah, you would think it'd be the sheep hive.
Yeah. Just like
something.
The paddock.
The paddock. Yeah, log on to the paddock.
Yeah. Amazing. So this was made from the Office of the Minister of Digital Economy, David Clark, and the Minister for Economic and Regional Development. I thought I put the other guy's name here.
That's all right. Call him...
something Nash. His last name was Nash. I had to have those names in there earlier because then I reference them later because they're points and stuff. So Crosby, Stills, and Nash. That'll do.
Nailed it.
They're investing $2.5 million per year for the next 5 years to expand the code program, which is like solid.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty good, especially for indie studios and stuff. To expand the code program. CODE stands for the Center of Digital Excellence. I feel like this is a fairly recent thing too, because I think I've only really heard of the code program like this year.
Yeah, right.
It might have been around a little longer, but its mission is to boost Otago's region's growing game dev scene. I don't know if I said that right. I apologize for butchering location names in this.
That's all right.
I feel like I've heard them before, but I've never said them, and now I just don't know how to say them.
Yeah. Lesser of Two Weevils, I don't know if you know your New Zealand capitals and towns, but if you can let us know about that too. Yeah.
Please hit us up.
He doesn't listen to this fucking podcast. We'll keep calling him out.
Yeah. It's great. Maybe he will.
Maybe
people will start getting him in.
That's what we should do. We should just call out people and then go, hey,
brilliant.
You're in the podcast. Why don't you listen? And then
you have to listen now, just in case we call you out again. You need to help us.
Yeah. Person by person, not audience by audience, but individual by individual. We'll get them on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll get them over here.
Nailed it.
Amazing. That's a great idea. Just the slowest marketing scheme ever.
Yeah. We'll get to a point where we're just looking in a phone book. We're just like, Alex Ship, why don't you come on and listen to the podcast?
We're calling out a ship.
Yeah.
A ship.
A ship. Where are you, D-hole?
It's ridiculous. All right. Code was already allocated $1 million at the start of the year as well. So they've increased it in less than a year.
Sick.
To an additional $1.25 million, which is very cool. The reasoning given for this increase is that the game development community is growing at a startling speed. Can you imagine if the Australian government noticed that happening
it's
here?
not happening here. There's no way.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. We haven't made a game since LA Noire.
That's right. That's right. Since, 2008 or something?
Yeah, that's the last one.
Ridiculous. Honk honk, baby. There was another thing I was going to say about the Australian government doing. Yeah, the only guy that was fighting for us found out that he was born in New Zealand and moved here 3 days later, so technically is not Australian and can't be in the national government.
Is it the same guy that's given them money now?
Probably. He's probably just gone home.
Yeah.
Insane. Yes, so the Minister Clark said the latest data... No, I'm not going to do that. The latest data from the New Zealand Game Developers Association shows the total revenue for the industry is $407 million compared to $276 million 1 year ago. So it's almost doubled.
That's sick.
Which is very, very cool. Almost doubled in 1 year. Minister Nash Crosby Stills added to that. We also want to drive innovation and create opportunities in our regions, expanding code across the code concept, not code concept. That's not it either. The code
program.
Thank you. Across New Zealand should pique the interest of burgeoning game developers. And provide them with a foot in the door, which is very, very cool. And I saw somewhere else in the article that a lot of the funding appears to go to... Crap. I knew how to say this before. Dunedin.
Yeah, cool.
I was looking at it, I'm like, Dunedin? Dunedin?
Yeah.
Dunedin. A lot of the funding seems to be going there. And Dunedin now accounts for about 25% of New Zealand studios.
Oh.
So it's like a quarter of it is just in that one little region, which is very cool. I would almost assume maybe it's... Because you would think it's like, a lot in Auckland, which maybe there still is, but I'm assuming maybe Dunedin is like cheap to live.
It's the Adelaide
and to get
of
studio
New
space.
Zealand.
It's like the Adelaide. I would imagine that's potentially the case.
Yeah.
So they're just growing it in little pockets, and it seems to be spreading throughout the country, which is very, very cool.
Is spreading across the country.
That's right. Like a disease.
Yeah, it does sound like a Bond villain.
I've
sent my code out, Mr. Bond. What are you going to do? I'm going to work out what accent you just did, and then I'll get you.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? It's so vague. It's definitely
a German ghost.
Yeah. Ooh, what are you going to do?
Some weird, vague European ghost.
Yeah,
love it.
That's. I've met a lot of ghosts like that. Had to get out of there. Had to get out.
Yep. Good.
Welcome
just
to
the most nothing.
Just like we're done.
Out.
It wasn't even funny. We just left.
That's great.
Welcome to the ad read. We worked out what the ad read was. If you want to know what the ad read is,
we were reminded.
Head to the Discord. You'll find out.
Patreon.com/each to their own will get you there.
Thank you. And we were told by Joshy to promote Ben. Get a Ben.
Get a Ben in ya.
Well, that's why I ended, and I'm like, I'll leave it to Josh. Josh can talk about getting that Ben in him.
I got a Ben in. I hung out with Ben on the weekend.
Yeah, good.
We went to a gig. We went to his housemate's gig.
Oh, sick.
It was very cool. And I had a weird realization watching his band. I'd never seen this before, but his housemate's guitarist in the band, his housemate plays bass for a band that is kind of like probably slightly heavier Paramore.
Yeah, cool.
I would probably put them down as like female singer. She has a phenomenal voice.
Cool.
But the whole vibe is very like kind of the heaviest Paramore stuff that Paramore has put out. They're kind of more towards that.
Yeah, cool.
Very, very cool. They're awesome. They're called Ultraviolet.
Yes.
Violet being just VLT. But at the gig, the poster for them had been printed by the venue, and they were called Ultravolt. VAULT.
No, that's not it. That's not the
Very
one.
disappointing. Yes. I've been there. I've had my previous band names butchered.
Yeah.
I've even just been interrupted mid-gig by the organizer to let people know that dinner was ready in another room. And then
If you want to leave.
when he handed it back, he said, "All right, and back to these guys." And then walked off stage
Jeez.
like, "You are the worst. You are the absolute worst human being."
Amazing.
Anyway, had a realization about the guitarist of Ultravolt. I didn't even mean to do that. I'm so sorry.
Leave them alone. These poor people.
Ultraviolet. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That was so bad. So he plays left-handed, which isn't the weird part.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, plays left-handed. But when I was watching him play like the really high up lead parts, his fingers were at the top of the neck, which is where the low strings are.
Oh.
But he was playing like high guitar solos. I was like, that's weird. Like I was like, am I blind? Am I just missing something?
Yeah.
Because I am.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And I was like trying to see the strings and trying to see the thickness of his strings. And through some like little glints of light on the strings, his strings were flipped over. He strings his guitar upside down.
What the
So his
fuck?
thickest string is at the bottom of the guitar neck,
Wow.
all the way to the highest. And I've seen this in a way from the band The Attaris. And I believe what's his name? Jimi Hendrix? I think Jimi Hendrix did it too.
Yeah, right.
The guitarist of The Attaris and Jimi Hendrix both played right-handed guitars upside down.
Yeah.
But this guy had a left-handed guitar and strung it upside down.
So
So I'm like, that's kind of unusual.
Yeah. Does that mean that he's... Is it just is it just what they did, but he's restrung it to then be... Like, what's happening there?
Kind of, yeah. So I asked him afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to ask.
why have you
what
done
the other
this?
guys have done? Yeah, what the other guys have done is I think like so Jimi Hendrix, I believe, learnt on a right-handed guitar because at the time when he was learning, he didn't have access to a left-handed guitar because left-handed guitars aren't that common to get. So he learnt on a right-handed guitar. Upside down, and that's just how he played. And he just got right-handed guitars and played them upside down. That was it.
Yeah.
The singer of the Attaris wanted to be famous, so he learnt to play upside down so that when he one day threw his guitars into the audience, most people would be able to play it straight away.
Amazing.
I've seen him do it as well.
Yeah.
And he picks it up so that the neck of the guitar is facing into the audience.
Yeah.
And then he just throws it. So it's this missile
Holy
going
shit.
like neck first directly into a crowd of people.
My God, that
It's
seems
terrifying
wrong.
to watch. It's nuts. But I asked the singer of Ultraviolet, and they had a very similar kind of idea. Basically, when they started learning guitar, they only had access to a right-handed guitar, so they learned it that way. And then when they were able to buy left-handed guitars, which are, much easier to put a strap on and stuff like that when you're playing. He was like, well, I still learnt upside down. So he then strung the whole thing upside down.
That's nuts.
It was really weird.
God.
But fascinating. Like, it was really interesting.
My hands are trying to work out. Like, my hands are, like, imagining that. I'm like, oh, fuck. Because chords are designed to work in a certain way. Like,
Yeah, totally.
They are easy to use when with the way the fuck wild. Wow.
Yeah. So it's super interesting.
Yeah.
But once I realized that, I just couldn't take my hands off his eyes. I couldn't take my eyes off his hands.
Yeah.
Just watching him play the whole time.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
this is
nuts.
something else. It's very cool. Nice dude too. Great.
Yeah, cool.
Terrible venue. Don't go to the Tote.
Oh, that sounds
It just
terrible.
sounded like mud. Yeah,
that sounds shit.
Yeah.
So there you go. Joshy, thanks for recommending us to promote Ben.
There you go. Thanks for taking me to a gig, Ben.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben.
You're a good guy.
And staying on Ben, that's what he sounds like if he has milk. I'm sorry, Ben. You bought the shirt. It's not on us.
Excellent. Very good. That was great. Very good.
Welcome to Cues from Muse. These are the cues from Muse. We're lacking. Give us more.
Funny that.
Give
Please.
us more. If you want to give us more, you can go to the Discord through the Patreon at patreon.com/each-their-own, and there's a channel called hashtag AskEdo, and there's a form in there. You put them in there, so please do that. Here's me. I've still got that phlegm. Have you got one? Have you got one in the time that I was saying stuff?
I was just looking. This one's been here for a little while, and I still don't know how to answer it, so maybe we can just nut something out now.
Okay.
Dolphin Pants asks, what game would be improved with a card game? I'm assuming this means a video game with an internal card game like Gwent.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Maybe we can expand it out to just an internal game, because we have things like Horizon Forbidden West had an additional game inside. There was another game in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so maybe we can expand it out to be not just a card game, but just a game,
some sort of functional thing
that exists inside. Tell you what would be kind of fun. There is an arcade machine inside the Belfry of Gotham Knights. Imagine if that was an Injustice video game.
That would be pretty great. But
that
like
would be sick.
Aside, like an actual like Street Fighter-y one.
Yeah, even just a little like pixel art one.
Yeah.
So just like a little, just a
that
reference to that one. That would be kind of fun. I'd be very cool for that.
Just more than one game. I'm so surprised that it's not like a collectible in the world that you get more games or something.
Because it also has an option in the pause menu to go back to the arcades menu.
Yeah.
Which indicates, because you can go back to the title screen of the one game on the the arcade machine, but then there's an additional menu back again, like another level back.
I don't know,
what is that for? There's nothing there.
It's almost like the game was unfinished. Maybe.
Almost.
Possibly. My brain went to like games I like that either could be improved or not hurt by an extra game inside it. And I'm like, the most basic version of cards. It's like a game of like, not solitaire, but like some sort of pokery thing that you can do with cards inside like Uncharted 4. And it's like when you're in like the Jeep, you can stop and just play cards with Sam or with Sully and just play. Just so totally not like beneficial in any way, but it's like the game already has Crash Bandicoot inside it. Like imagine you can just stop and just play cards with your friends. That could be quite cute.
Yeah. Is there any like casino-y type things in Uncharted?
I mean, Uncharted 4 is the heist at the start.
Yeah. Is that at the casino? I'm trying to think. Or is that just a fancy
I think it's just a fancy place. But I'm sure, I mean, there was the boat. The boat probably had a casino area, like the big boat in Uncharted 3. Yeah, I'm sure they could do something like that. Did Last of Us have a thing? I feel like Last of Us Part 2 was in the era of putting little games inside it. I guess it's just very sad.
I feel like it didn't. But I feel like it didn't. But that would be an interesting one. What could they do? Like,
well, no, yeah. I mean, there's D&D. Like, there's the D&D bits and pieces that you find. I think in both games. Oh yeah. There's an in-universe D&D thing, which is what people thought they were going to do next, and then they still haven't done anything with it. But sure. Like some form of like role play game inside Last of Us. So it's like sadness, and then you can just escape to a little D&D world where you're moving pieces around, and you've got
that'd be kind of cool.
You've got home base, like you've got the camp where that could be.
Yeah. It could just be a video gamey thing inside where it's any base you go to is. It's the same game that you were playing at a different base.
Totally.
Travels across.
You can continue your campaign. That could be fun.
Yeah. Something like that. I'm thinking like now also towards God of War. But all I'm thinking of is just a Valhalla type dice game.
Well, God of War has something, right?
It has an internal game?
I think so, because you got pieces. Well, you got dice with your well, you didn't, but you get it with the collector's edition.
The big collector's edition.
So I assume it has some sort of, I think, Horizon-like game in there somewhere, but maybe it's just dice for fun. Man, it's real fucking evident that we only play PlayStation games.
True. Halo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a, I don't know,
Hollow chess.
Chess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with Covenant versus NSCT or whatever they're called.
Yeah. NFTs. They'll get you.
NFTs.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm trying to think of a game I hate that you could put a card game in it so I would never play it again. Like I want to put a card game in a game to be a deterrent for me. I mean, it's The Witcher. It's a game. It's like I'm terrified that Gwent's in there, and I'm like, I don't want that. Fuck that.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my answer for that. Have we answered this? Have you got one? I think
we did. I think we had a bit of a chat about it. We're done.
That's enough. My next question comes from Dolphin. This one says, off the back of last week, where we got frustrated because his questions were too difficult. He says, "You want simpler questions? Okay. Is soup good?" And
that's nice. I like it.
It's nice and to the point. I think there's almost no bad soup. Like, if it's a boring soup, it's probably exists because of war times, or it's like in a prison. Also, like there's a reason that soup tastes shit, or it's a really fucking extravagant soup and that'll be nice, or it's a cup of soup. It's a fucking noodle. It's like, is there a bad soup? I can't think of a soup I've had that I'm like, oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, no. Because, like, even tomato soup, I've had tomato soup, and even tomato soup is pretty good.
It does, yeah.
It's nice.
It does the
job.
job.
Basic.
Yeah.
I love soup. Literally, I don't know if you did this at your school, because this was in primary school for me, but I don't know if a lot of schools did this, but we did, like, early years, we had, like, public speaking. You just had, like, little assignments and stuff. You just have to write a speech about something. My second one was about soup.
Wow.
And how good soup is.
That's wild.
And just all the different types of soup and how great different soups are.
Good soup. You're the original good soup.
Yeah. Good soup. Yeah. So I love soup.
Number one
I
soup.
eat soup all the time.
Number
one soup. I love a chicken and sweet corn. It's got the meaty bits. And you kind of also... Like, I love just like a vegetable soup, like the ones with just like potato, like almost whole potatoes in it.
Yeah.
But I do also love a classic pumpkin with sour cream. Just got to get that dollop of sour cream and like some chives or whatever. Like
a little bit of green
stuff.
Yeah.
So good.
I mean,
so good.
I have nothing to add to that, but they are the correct choices.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna write.
Trying to think of other ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna write.
My mum makes a really good potato and leek soup. That's her signature soup. Always has been. It's not a chunky one. It sort of ends up being more like a pumpkin consistency. But it's very good.
Do you like a good Amish preaching soup?
Absolutely, I love an Amish preaching soup.
Absolutely.
The heck is that? Does it have a...
This is amazing. So it's on Wikipedia. It's got a list of soups. It's got name, image, origin, distinctive ingredients and description, and type. And so type, you would think like maybe there's like a nice food word for it. It's between chunky and like pottage. Which I don't know what but just the idea that
pottage.
I'm like,
not porridge, but pottage.
Pottage, but totally they look like porridges, so maybe that's the thing. Amish preaching soup is typically served. Some versions are prepared with beans. Just they're wooden beams from the barns. Just stuff them in a fucking soup.
That's how they stir it.
Yeah, just a massive
sometimes
beam.
they drop them in and they're like, different beam.
Oh well.
Yeah.
One less barn. Beans and ham hocks. Ham hocks. Yum.
Ham hocks. Just a whole hock of ham.
Hock of ham. A hocka ham. A ham. Hocka. All these. I also cannot name them because I'm incredibly white, but all the different like purely liquid soups that come out at like Japanese restaurants and stuff that I never know what they're called because they just arrive with the dish and I'm like, oh yeah, and then you drink and you're like, oh, that's fucking great. I'm glad that you're here.
Yep.
But I love all of those too.
Yeah, nice. I have thought of ones that I don't like.
Oh,
well, I don't think I would like. I feel like they don't come up all that often, probably because they're not good.
Yeah.
But when you were saying typically served something, my mind immediately went to cold. And I think there are like cold soups, and I can't imagine having a cold soup.
That wouldn't be enjoyable.
Unless the argument is cereal a soup?
Oh yeah.
Then you need to have that as a cold soup.
Yeah.
Depends on the answer.
But then you got warm porridge, and that's kind of hitting soup area.
Yeah, it's true.
That kind of hits up in there. But yeah, for sure. Although cold soup, I'll have a cold pumpkin soup. I can go for that. Like I don't.
Interesting.
Because if it's chunky, I can't have like a liquidy one. But like,
sure.
I think I can. I mean, I know I can because it's like if there's a leftover, and like so many leftovers, you're like, I could put it in the microwave, or I could just have it right now. And sometimes I just have it right now.
Sure. I feel like I don't do that. My girlfriend loves like cold pizza.
Oh, I don't like that. Is the best version of pizza.
I don't think I've had it before, but I always heat up my pizza. I always heat up my soup. The only time I have cold soup is because I take a long time to eat soup. And so
it becomes
by
cold.
the time I'm done, it's cold.
Yeah.
And that's when I can have cold soup.
You got to have
purely because there's still some left.
Yeah, you got to have cold pizza. You got to experience that.
Interesting.
There is only two forms of pizza.
Maybe years ago I've had it.
Yeah, maybe. There's two forms of pizza. There's the pizza that's just arrived, and there's cold pizza. There's nothing else for me. Like that. If you want to. Yeah.
You did used to heat up the pizza in a sandwich press.
I can do that. If I'm putting the effort in, I'll do that because then it just becomes just fresh. But I can't do microwave pizza because then it's just it's all floppy.
It's like soggy. And
and I can't do that. So I like a firm piece.
There you go.
Let us know in the Discord. Do you like firm peas? And also what your favorite soups are.
Yeah.
I think we sufficiently answered cues. Please send more.
I think we did some cues.
We're running out.
We are.
Give more use. Oh, it's time for the Rex Egg. And this is my favorite now because it's coming to the end of the year where we're both very busy and it's like, has anyone done anything? And then we have, and it's like, oh, wow, what'd you do? How'd you do that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
How'd you fit that in there? I like the numbers. I did the numbers last time. I got 2 things in TV and film, and I got 3 things in games.
I have written down, I did absolutely nothing this week. I consumed nothing.
Oh, wow.
But I have one thing that I did last week that I forgot to talk about.
Yeah, cool.
And it is a live production.
That's exciting.
So I don't know where that fits. So you do your television, I'll do my thing, and then you do your game.
Yeah.
Other than I played some more God of War, but
I was going to talk about God of War, so we can briefly talk about God of War. TV and film. You haven't watched this, but the Guardians Holiday Special, that's out, and I'm not going to say my opinion because I don't want to sway you either way, even though you'll just enjoy it anyway. But it's short. I'll tell you that much. It was surprisingly short.
40, I think I heard.
Yeah, which in 40? The world of Disney Plus is like 36.
Yeah.
So it's short, but there's some good heart in there, as with all Guardians related stuff. And then the other thing that I can talk about is the Santa Clauses, which is the expanded on the 3 Tim Allen films. Hey, it's Tim Allen.
Is he back?
It's the whole cast. Everyone's in it.
Dang, I've just seen him in so long.
I love this thing. I love it. Were these films?
You love the originals too, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say, were they part of your childhood?
I feel like probably the first one, not like a regular thing.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I didn't have many like regular Christmas movie things. We watched Simpsons Christmas things.
Yeah.
Invader Zim. There was 1 or 2 freaking insane Invader Zim episodes.
Yeah.
Christmas related, and Nightmare Before Christmas.
How interesting. Yeah, that is a bizarre Christmas watching list. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I think I watched the original a few times, but the other 2 I've watched once. But they're all such weird movies that they're in my brain. Like, if you don't know, the first one he becomes Santa. Second one he has to get a wife to be Mrs. Claus, and through doing that, they create a robot Santa Claus that takes over the North Pole and is basically a Nazi. It's fucking wild. Like, he dresses up in these military costumes and just shouts, and it's like, this is wild, man. This is a wild movie. And then the third movie is Martin Short as Jack Frost, and he wants to take over as Santa Claus. And he basically rewrites time, and it's so fucking good.
I had totally forgotten that was Martin Short.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, it's so good.
That's amazing.
And we just watched the trailer for the third one, and it was like, we need to rewatch all of these. But this is captured it in a way, in the best way you could imagine them capturing the magic of those movies, in that there wasn't that much magic. They were pretty fine movies, but like great for the time. And it's just like, this feels like it's from the early 2000s and the 90s. Like, it's so fucking cheesy. It's so
I feel like anything Tim Allen would do
he's not good.
Would fit into that.
Yeah. He's genuinely
he hasn't aged beyond.
No.
Like, his acting and stuff hasn't aged beyond that.
Not at all.
He probably is like the head producer or something of this.
Totally. He's together. Yeah. Like, all the elves are better. All the child actors that are in this are better than him. But it's like, they have captured the jokes are so shit but great. Like, they go to the like head detective, and he's like a sleazy noir kind of detective, and he's like, I've been here for ages. They cut the cocoa and everyone left, so it's just me now. And it's like this actual child, and it's so funny. It's dorky as all shit. Surprisingly, and like the premise of it is that he's losing his magic and he needs to get a replacement Santa Claus. That's kind of the crux of the show. And it's 3 episodes in, and I'm still like, I'm in for the premise, which is
it's a
really
show.
Good. It's a show.
Wait, the Santa Clauses?
Yes.
Oh.
It's a series. It started...
I wasn't expecting that.
No, it started 2 weeks ago. 2 episodes dropped, and then another. I think it's on every week until Christmas, basically, which is... really fun.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of show.
How long's an ep?
Like 40 minutes, 50 minutes.
That's decent. That's so much. That's so much Tim Allen.
I know. And that's what makes it so wild, is it's like, the thing about those films is they had so much lore to them. Like, just the premise of a Santa Claus was already enough. Like, that's a lot of world building you've made. And then in this, it's like, it no other Christmas thing could become a show, because in this, everything has a thing. Like, like I say, there's a fucking cop, LA Noir detective in it. So they go like, there's so many layers to the North Pole. And so they've got enough to make a show, but it is super wild that the Santa Claus has a TV series.
So funny.
But I wholeheartedly recommend it. I would say don't wait till it's finished, because it's a lot. You're not going to binge watch this.
It's going to be so much. Yeah, that is hours.
Yeah, it's not worth binge watching. So like, jump on it sooner rather than later, so you can watch like 2 bulk sittings or something. But it's very, very fun.
Is there like a prerequisite watching? Like, should you have watched, and should you remember?
I would say have watched them. Ones? I don't think you really need to. Like, they that's the thing that's wild, is hearing them talk about the lore of the fucking movies is nuts. Like, obviously they're trying to find another Santa Claus, and someone's like, oh, what if can we clone him? And they're like, I don't think making a double's a good idea. Like, there's like constant things like that. And cool. I think they do a good job of it. There's lots of moments where he'll say something, and then the bars like raise, and it's a clip from the other movie, and then it comes back. So there's a little bit of like,
that's fun.
Yeah, a little flashbacks here and there. So you should be okay without it, but it's also the 4th movie in a lot of ways, so it's probably worth watching the other ones, because it's also like not emotional, but it's like, well, they want you to be emotional about the things that are changing and happening, and you're like, if you've never watched the movie before, that's Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus and kids, and it's like, I don't know who these people are. Whereas with the other films, also there's 2 new kids in it. The other kid does come back, and it's in the trailer. It's not too much of a spoiler, but there's 2 new kids that they've had in the 30 years, the 29 years since the fucking original.
That's nuts.
And the girl is Tim Allen's daughter, and it's definitely his daughter. It's like, it's so his daughter. So that's fun. That's 2 things to watch, both on Disney Plus, both Christmas related.
There you go.
And that's that. Games. Oh, do you want to talk about your live thing?
I'll do my thing because it's also Christmas related.
Oh, ding, ding,
Ding,
ding.
ding. Shaka laka. What did we say before? What was our...
I don't know. It's been a short but long pod.
Yeah, I can't remember.
No.
I saw a live stage production of A Christmas Carol at the Comedy Theatre in Melbourne. It was really cool. It's where I saw Leno and Woodley.
Sick.
And Come From Away.
Yeah,
also
cool.
very good.
Yep.
And it was starring David Wenham. He is Faramir in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
He's Dilios in 300. He's Carl in Van Helsing.
I'll just look up a picture of his face.
Yeah. You'd probably see it.
What's his name?
You'd
David?
Recognize him. David Wenham. Look up like Faramir, Lord of the Rings. I kind of recognized him from that. Harold Meacham in Iron Fist, the series.
Oh, shit.
He's an Australian. And
that guy.
Scarfield in the Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales film.
Now, I'm not a Lord of the Rings person, but I feel like he is the least interesting Lord of the Rings character.
Potentially.
Like,
yes.
just in that I looked at him and I'm like, extra? Like, he doesn't
totally.
have anything interesting about his face.
But I think Faramir is like a dude. I think.
Oh, for sure.
He's kind of like in it.
Yeah. But he's supernova level of like a guy.
Yeah, totally. But
exciting.
Yeah, so it was cool to see someone who is in
stuff
like Hollywood level films like 300 and Lord of the Rings, Van Helsing and stuff.
Totally.
So that was really cool. So he was Scrooge. And it was delightful. Like we walked in, there were people dressed in, like early 1900s garb, walking around with these trays of mince fruit pies, just handing them out for free. It wasn't like selling them.
Amazing.
They're just like, mince pie for you?
I'm allergic to mince.
Go and have one. Just have one. It's freaking great.
Cute.
And then what else? There was a part where it started snowing on stage and he's like, it's snowing, and all of a sudden the entire audience just starts getting snowed on.
Amazing.
It was really, really cool.
That's
and it was
sweet.
quite funny because the people, there was exactly where the primary landing point of the arc of snow was like these two people in particular, and they were covered. They were like, their hair was like white. And so I went with my girlfriend and her mum and auntie and family and stuff. And her mum and auntie, like obviously sisters, grew up together, were like, they laughed for probably 5 to 10 minutes straight. They were setting each other off. When one settled down, the other one would then snicker, and then they would just go again.
Cute.
Oh my god, freaking hilarious. It was very, very good. And then there was a part where I think Scrooge, like right at the end, was happy again. He went to the employer that he was the employee that he had, who is the father of Tiny Tim. In that whole thing. And he's like, let's get all the people together and let's have this huge feast and whatever. And they're like, let's get the neighborhood involved. And so they started like running around giving bags of food to it, like up high, where we were. Because we were up in the stalls. Giving bags of food to people. And then they would bring them over to this giant sheet, which they like 2 sheets that were running from the stalls all the way down to the stage.
Yeah, cool.
And the people would be asked to pour all of this food on these sheets, so it would just be like mandarins just rolling at terminal velocity down towards the stage and just going everywhere. It was amazing.
The 2 sheets came to the middle and just collided with those 2 people. They were holding them, so they're just getting pelted with mandarins.
Totally.
My snowy hair.
But it was really funny because they did it, like, it honestly went for probably 10 minutes of just audience members running over with sacks and pouring them down. And the actors that were sort of holding them would ask them what their names are. And they're like, this is from the Smith family.
Oh, cute.
And then Scrooge is like, thank you, Smith family.
That's
like,
cool.
It's really, really nice. And there was one, the family was the McCain family.
Good.
And Scrooge was just like, McCain's, you've done it again.
Amazing.
So good.
Fun.
Like, it was really, really fun. It was just such a delightful performance.
That's sick.
Tiny Tim was the cutest little child ever. Clearly just like some Australian kid.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't doing an accent or anything.
Yeah,
but
good.
his lines were just so cute. Like, probably like a 5-year-old just saying, Mr. Scrooge, I'm so glad you've come to have Christmas with us.
Oh, God.
Like, just stuff like that. And it was freaking adorable. He got the biggest applause. He was the last person to come out on stage.
Good.
Clearly, they knew who would.
Yeah.
Like, David Wenham, everyone was like, yeah, you were great.
It's the guy.
And then this kid came out and he got a standing ovation despite having like 10 lines and being on stage in the last 2 minutes of the performance. Crazy. And then they intermittently throughout it did Christmas carols with handbells.
Oh, cool.
So just handbells, the orchestra and stuff weren't playing. It was just handbells. It was freaking delightful. Partway through the final one, which was Silent Night, my girlfriend almost started bawling her eyes out, except a woman behind us hiccuped the loudest I've ever hiccuped in my entire life, and it echoed through the entire freaking theater.
Yeah.
Ruined the whole performance. And then we started like nearly crying laughing because it was just so awful. Like, it was ridiculous. But Tiny Tim got the last little ding right at the end. It was just beautiful. Cute. It was so good. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Christmas Carol. Go check it out. I've spoiled the whole thing.
Oh, no. He gets visited by 3 goats. Meh. I'm the
screaming.
Yeah, totally. They're the Thor ones. Why is everything happening now? Because there's carols near here that are happening on like the 7th. It's like, what the fuck's going on?
It's kind of early, right?
Yeah.
It's a little early.
Christmas
I assume
specials
this
are dropping
is going to be going for a while.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Seems a little too early.
Preempted Chris. Well, just quickly on games, God of War Ragnarok, I haven't played much more, but I played it enough that I'm like, I'm almost just going to watch it. I'm just so tired of the game, but I'm really loving the story, and it's just... Every time I get to a big area and I'm like, all right, here we go. It's like,
yeah, sure.
It's just feeling rinse and repeaty in a way. And like, it's like, I'm so glad I played the Uncharted's when I did, because I don't think I could play them now in terms of the like walking while someone's talking. It's like, fuck, man, this game, it's so, you can feel the moments where there's nothing visually they want to do. So it's just like walking while Atreus is talking to you and you're like, yeah. Okay. All right. We're doing this now. And then you get to a bit and you like hit some stuff and then it's like, and then we're going to walk over here. And it's like, all right. And like, I know Uncharted does it. I'm so aware. And it's like, now that I'm so hyper, and like Horizon and I'm so hyper aware that stuff happens in these PlayStation games that I'm like, if Uncharted 4 came out now, I would probably feel the same as I'm feeling about God of War.
Potentially, yeah.
It's just, I'm so tired of it. But have you enjoyed the little bit more you've played?
I have, yes. Yeah. I probably play more tonight.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, do it.
Hopefully. Yeah.
It's insane that...
good. But yeah, I just haven't had a lot of time.
Yeah, it's insane that we've not been spoiled. I'm so surprised.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I knew about... And I won't spoil the other game because Josh is currently playing it. That's the only reason. Otherwise, fuck everyone else. Like, the ending of that game has such a big thing, and I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that online. Like,
of which? Gotham Knights?
Of God of War, the first.
Oh, the other God of War.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
The ending of that, like, the stuff that happens there, it's like, oh, I didn't see it before I played it, but I definitely saw it afterwards. Whereas I haven't seen anything that happens in this game, really. Like, I'm vaguely aware of a character that's at the end of it, but apart from that, I don't know.
I have a guess based on one piece of fan art.
Oh, wow.
I think Javed Sterrett put out.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Oh, that's exciting. But that's a nice thing. That's a nice, when you, like, I'm talking like I haven't just read the script for the end of it. You know, like that happens online. Like where you're at there is a nice point of like, I wonder if it's this.
Yeah,
that's a nice place to be. I played 2 games on stream on Saturday. Far Changing Tides, which was one of the ones we talked about last week.
Yes. Definitely, heard of it, but didn't like it?
Did not work for me. It did and then it didn't.
Gotta look it up again.
I started playing it and it felt like Inside and Limbo and those sorts of games. It was a little dude.
Oh, is this the like only ever going left or right game?
Yeah, which as a mechanic really works. But it's like...
Sorry, I just clicked on a full gameplay of it and I didn't realize who it was, but as it was starting, I managed to mute it, but only... by like a fraction of a second after it started. Yeah. And it was Jacksepticeye going...
I thought so. I heard something clip. I just heard... Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll do it again.
Yeah, I heard that for sure.
But it was just... that was all I heard. Yeah. It's like, holy crap, dude.
He's never stopped. But it starts in like a... It feels like it's going to be like an Inside Limbo sort of game. Then you get to the big boat thing and... That's really cool because you control the kind of the mast going up, you control where the sails are positioned, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that's really fun because it's like you got to catch the wind, you're coming towards objects that are going to knock the sails down and stuff like that. So you got to kind of work. And I'm like, oh, if this is the game I'm in, so cool. But then you come back to the kind of Inside and Limbo things, you get to places where there's puzzles and things to do, and the puzzles are so slow. And Bring Me Chuck was in the chat and they said... it's not like this puzzle's slow, just everything about it's slow. It's like I had to do one where I had to put coal into a train, fan the flame, which would start the train, and the train genuinely moved like this. And it was just excruciating. I
just walk faster.
Totally. The character, totally walks faster. So I got to that one. I did half of what I felt like the puzzle was. Then I broke the puzzle because I was like, Bring Me Shock. It felt like I couldn't do anything else. They were like, yeah, you can't get back to the things that you need now. And I'm like, all right, I'm out, man.
Jeez,
cool.
That sucks.
And what that was me... assuming because there was a little box that was opening when I pulled a lever. I was like, I've got to get that box over this part of the track. So I kept pushing the train, like I kept fanning the flame. And so I did like 3 versions of the slow speed crawl. And I got it there and I'm like, sick, press the button and nothing happened. So I had no coal to like push it back to wherever it needed to be. Yeah. Anyway, horrible. Gone. Don't play that game. It's not worth it. I then played
Anti-Wreck.
That's what's going to happen on Friday for me. Then I played Somerville, which is... I'm getting the camera inside me. The Somerville, which is the kind of A Quiet Place-esque game that kept popping up in Game Awards and stuff like that. Yep. And I fucking love this game. This is so good. I was going to stream the rest of it yesterday at the time recording, whatever, but I'm a little bit zonked. But I will finish this on stream. It's only a 2-hour game. It's like 2.5 hours, and it is... so good, mechanically really cool. As I was playing it on stream, I was getting to puzzles and would like try, and because it's so short, I just had the walkthrough there, and I'm like, all right, what's the fucking that? Because I don't want to get angry at this game. I just want to enjoy this, so I would occasionally grab a hint from a walkthrough. But when I got puzzles, it was like the most satisfying feeling because the mechanics work so well. And knowing that it's only short, it was like, I didn't want to get annoyed with it, but I'm also so excited to get to the end of it. And the story's quite cool. Like it's really good, and it's on Game Pass, so it's free as well.
Nice. Is it another... I'm just looking at it now. Is it like 2D side?
It's kind of... sort of? Yeah, it's kind of Inside Limbo-esque. I guess more so Little Nightmares because it's 2.5D in that you're not stuck on a plane. You kind of got a little bit more of movement to it. But yeah, it's very much when you move, the camera's coming with you. Yeah. But yeah, so good. Like the atmosphere that builds at the start of the game. Like I've never been scared in a game, and I still wouldn't call it a scare, but it was like I was kind of hearing noises outside of my room, so I was like aware of that, and then something really loud happened in the game, so I thought it was the house, and so it was
right.
But I was already on like a tense build, so it was a combination of like trying to listen out there and then getting hit with it, and I was like, ah!
Yeah. So it's not scared, but like just tense.
Yeah, and then just startled by it. It's super good. Big
the vibe looks amazing in the pictures.
Absolutely.
Looks really cool. I'm just looking at the Steam pictures and it just looks stunning.
It is gorgeous. It
I'll
is
have
so
to
gorgeous.
jump on this.
Yeah. If you bring your Xbox with you, definitely just sit this for 2 hours.
100%.
That's my Rex.
Nice.
And if you want to see my Rex, head to the hospital I'm heading to on Friday, and you can get those pictures, I'm sure. But let's press this little button.
Rec.
And that's the podcast. Wow.
Pretty good. We did it.
We did
good.
it, everybody. That
I
was
feel like the energy has been dropping since the start,
yeah.
but damn, that was a good start.
It was a strong start.
Loved it.
And a slow finish. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Just chilling out.
We're chilling out. We're caught up.
Monday night.
And now we're chilling out.
Yeah.
And it's like a little bit warm. It's a little muggy. So I'm just, it's like this, the longer I'm mugged, the more energy just gets zapped out of me.
The longer I'm mugged.
Yeah.
It's been so weird down here. It's like 17, 18 degrees and then like for like a week or two and then one day of 28. And then the next day we'll be back down to
cold.
17, 18 degrees. It's bizarre. I was telling my parents because they came up, like pack cold because it's been pretty cold, like, you know, just a bit of a jacket. And then when they arrived, it was like 28 degrees.
Damn it. Amazing.
All Saturday, which was, the day that they were here.
The one day they're here. Yeah, good. Well, if you want to hear more about weather, ants, and
government grants,
that's pretty fucking good. He nailed it. He brought that one home. That was good.
Best podcast we've done.
Come back next week because there'll be more ETTO'S catch up. And if you've missed anything and you want to catch up, you can hear all 41. I mean, I can say 41 because there's more than that. Technically, all 40 other ETTO'S catch up of this format.
Yes.
Either if you're not seeing us currently, you can listen to us. You just scroll around. There's stuff like that. But if you want to see our faces, head to youtube.com/each of their own. And podcasts are there. Lots of podcasts. Podcasts on Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Podcast on this Friday of Black Panther 2016, the comic book.
Yes.
It'll be dropping this week. So look forward to that.
We bloody nailed it again.
There's so many bits in that. With so many bits. We saw them all. No one else in the theater gave a shit.
No.
But in the first like 20 minutes of that movie, we're like, oh my God, we've already got this. It's already ours.
Pretty damn good.
So find all that out on Friday, and not much other content because it's the end of the year and we're both very busy. There's lots of stuff happening. So we'll find time for you. But when we're in the same state, I think we'll do a couple of bits and pieces, which will be
Should
fun.
be able to. Yeah.
But until then, are we done?
I think we're done.
All right, let's go find that energy that we lost. Where did it go?
Oh, man. I need to go have some dinner.